Welcome back to Rooters, and welcome to this prequel episode. Hi everyone, how's it going? Rick here, alone, because I'm going to do a Russian River blind taste test. I've done it before with all the IPAs and their hazy IPA and their Pilsner. You can check that out over here. Now it's time finally to do all their sours and all their wine barrel aged stuff. Really excited. So this video is going to be a bit of a preamble. I'm going to go through all the labels. I'm going to go through talking about them and get this out of the way. That way the blind taste test can be just that, me blindly tasting all of these. I'm going to be blindfolded. Mary's going to randomize it for me. And then you're going to get my thoughts on the smell, thoughts on the taste, and then my rating on all of them without me knowing what they are and what they look like. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, first off, we have Damnation. I have had this before. It is pretty delicious. The label says, Damnation, the first in our long lineup of Belgian-inspired beers. This is a medium-bodied golden ale. Pilsner and pale malts along with a Belgian yeast strain give this beer a nice balance of fruit and spice. Damnation is re-fermented in this bottle to create its fine carbonation. Spent yeast cells form a thin layer of sediment in the bottom of this bottle. Pour slowly, allowing the natural yeast sediment to remain in the bottle. This is 7.5%. You wouldn't think so, but here it is. This was bottled on September 25th, 2019. So I'm not quite sure how long these last, but they have been refrigerated. And honestly, with bottle condition stuff and sours, I'm usually not too worried about it. But we'll see how they do in the rankings and review. Moving on, we have Propitiation here. This is a bit of a newer one that I got a little bit later than the rest of these as I've been collecting them. This is a porter aged in Petite Syrah barrels. This is barrel aged 12 to 15 months there. It was bottled on December 30th, 2020, the end of that COVID year there. On the label, it says, Porter was the first beer ever brewed at Russian River Brewing Company back in 1997, and our love for the style continues to this day. Propitiation is a sour porter aged in Petite Syrah barrels for 12 to 15 months. It has a soft roasted malt character with a discerning tart finish. We re-ferment Propitiation in this bottle to create its fine carbonation. Pour slowly to allow the thin layer of sediment to remain in the bottle. This is 6% alcohol by volume, so much lower than the 7.5 Damnation. I haven't had it. I don't think I've ever had a sour porter. I've had some sour stouts, which have been really good, barrel aged, so I have high hopes for this one. It took a while before I was even able to find this near me and have them ship it down here. Alright, third up, we have Temptation. This is an ale aged in Chardonnay barrels. It is 7.5% alcohol, so same as Damnation. This was bottled on March 27, 2020, so early on in that COVID time. Aged in used Chardonnay barrels, Temptation has distinct characteristics of fruit and subtle oak. Brettanomyces and good bacteria are added during the aging process to give the beer added fruitiness and a pleasant sourness. Temptation is re-fermented in this bottle to create its fine carbonation. Spent yeast cells form a thin layer of sediment in the bottom of this bottle. Pour slowly, allowing the natural yeast sediment to remain in the bottle. So there you have it. Remember, anytime we talk about good bacteria in these beers, like I say, they're good. They just help give it that sour character. It's that, I believe it's lactic acid after they're fermenting the sugars and everything else. Next up, we've got Intenction. This is a Pilsner aged in Sauvignon Blanc barrels with Brettanomyces and fresh Sauvignon Blanc grapes. The finished beer is refreshingly balanced with delicate notes of tart lemon and a slight earthiness from the Brett. This beer is re-fermented in the bottle, creating a natural carbonation and a small layer of yeast settlement. This is 8.25%, so the biggest we've seen thus far. Not huge, but it'll get you there if you're not ready for it. This was bottled on March 26, 2019. This is a sour Pilsner. Not too worried about it going bad, honestly. Alright, fifth, we've got Sanctification. This is a sour blonde ale fermented with 100% Brettanomyces. This one was bottled on February 21st, 2019. So one of the first ones I was able to find and pick up. The label says, Sanctification is fermented with 100% Brettanomyces, a yeast that is generally despised by many winemakers and brewers alike. The resulting beer is refreshingly fruity with a slightly tart and dry finish. Sanctification is re-fermented in this bottle to create its fine carbonation. Spent yeast cells form a thin layer, so pour slowly. This is 4.75%, so the babiest of all the beers as far as ABV is concerned. I've had most of these right here, minus this porter. And they're all decent. They're all good. There's some that I remember not liking as much as others, but we'll get to that in a bit here. Sixth, we have Consecration. This is an ale aged in Cabernet Sauvignon barrels with black currants. Very tasty one from what I remember. This was bottled on November 5th, 2020. The label says, when brewing Consecration, we add 2 varieties of dark malt, giving it a deep mahogany color and malty flavor. Some of my favorite things right there. Aged in used Cabernet Sauvignon barrels with black currants, Brettanomyces, and good bacteria, this beer is full-bodied and filled with rich notes of fruit, spice, tobacco, chocolate, and sourness with a hint of subtle oak. Consecration is re-fermented in this bottle for the carbonation, and spent yeast cells are there, so pour it slowly. This is a whopping 10%. Which is quite surprising, honestly, for a sour, especially sour ale like this. But yeah, 10%, that's up there with some of the stouts that I'm enjoying currently. Next up, we have a special one for me. This is Supplication. This is the first ever Russian River beer I think that I ever had, was Supplication. This is an ale aged in Pinot Noir barrels with cherries. So for you cherry lovers out there, this is the one you want to look for. This was bottled on June 24th, 2020. Supplication is a brown ale aged in Pinot Noir barrels with sour cherries, Brettanomyces, and good bacteria. This beer is a brown-red color with hints of cherry, wine, and a medium sourness. Supplication is re-fermented in this bottle, and once again, yeast cells form a thin layer of sediment supported slowly. This is 7.75%, so not the lowest, but not the highest either. And as I mentioned before, this is one that I was told to drink early on in my beer journey. And it's one that honestly changed the game for me, especially with sours. I remember being really, really good on tap, and it was decently sour, and it just blew my mind. Now, I've had it a few times since from the bottle, and they've honestly been hit or miss. Sometimes they bring me back to that first taste, and other times I'm kind of left wondering what happened here, what happened with this batch. So I don't know if the age is going to affect it, but we'll find out in the taste test and see how it stacks up to the rest. Last and hopefully not least, we have Beatification. This is an 100% spontaneously fermented beer aged in wine barrels. A little bit of a story on this one. This one was brewed kind of like on a limited basis, at least when it came out this time that I picked it up. And they sent it out to a lot of their liquor stores and other beer sellers that are around the area. And you were only able to get this if you bought other Russian River beers. So naturally I picked up, I think it was Blind Pig and Pliny the Elder for Mary to try. And so I was able to buy this bottle with it. Do I agree with that? It helps stop someone from coming in and buying just the whole case. But at the end of the day, maybe just limit it to one bottle per person. I'm not a super big fan of you have to buy this and then buy this. I know people do that with Goose Island, Bourbon County stuff. You can't buy any of the variants unless you buy, a bottle of the regular stuff. I don't know, just let people buy what they want to buy. Limit it to one bottle per person if you want. This was bottled on April 3rd, 2020. Let's read a little about it here. Beatification is a 100% spontaneously fermented beer using only wild yeast and bacteria, something we have been doing since 2006. We start by filling our Kolschip or horny tank. Okay, Russian River, I see you. And let the wort sit overnight. The inoculated wort is then transferred to used oak barrels and allowed to slowly, naturally ferment. Multiple vintages are combined to create the perfect blend. This beer has notes of citrus and earthiness with a tart finish. Beatification is re-fermented in the bottle and yeast settles on the bottom. So there you have it, everybody. These multiple vintages of this beer were combined in here to get this. They do have the barrel range. I think this is the biggest range. This is aged 9 to 36 months. So maybe some of the vintages were aged a little longer than others, and they were all combined here to get you that full flavor profile. Honestly, really, really excited to have this. It's been taking a lot of willpower to not crack this open and review it and drink it. This is 6% alcohol, so one of the lower ones here. And yeah, man, I am very excited for this. It's something I've been wanting to do for a very long time since I did that IPA blind taste test. And this will complete the set as far as I know. I know they have some other ales or something like that they're a little special. But yeah, I figure all of these, all that similar label together in one blind taste test will be awesome. It'll be probably a long one, so that's why I did this little bit of a preamble. You've gotten to see the beer spinning in front of you. You've gotten to hear about them. And you can reference this video again if you need to during the blind taste test. I'm very excited to get to it. So that's enough talking. Let's get to drinking. Hey guys, I'm back really quick here at the end of the video. Just wanted to give a shout out to all of you out there. Thank you so much for all your support. It's helped us a lot. There's a lot of good constructive feedback comments that I'm getting, ways to improve, even just little tidbits people know about the different beers, just to educate us a little bit more, which has been awesome. Keep it up. I really do read them and I really do appreciate them. But until next time, I'm the Bourbon Sure, trying every beer from around the world, one sip at a time.